I've seen the amazing things you do, whether it's feeding the homeless. I see you going on social media every time you change your squad number, and you offer to buy a new shirt with a new squad number for anyone that's got the old squad number.
That was a lot more expensive at Aston Villa than it was at Ipswich. I think at Ipswich was only about 5 people, but
quite a few at Villa.
Yeah.
It means you've got a lot of fans. It's not a bad thing. Whether it's buying tickets for fans who can't afford tickets, I wonder whether all of these things that you do, you can trace right the way back to when you had that period living in a homeless shelter, living a life not of plenty.
Absolutely. And I think, like I said, I've seen what it's like to be a football fan or to be someone that needs help or needs a leg up in life. And I mean, whilst I can't dedicate my whole life to helping other people, we're certainly in a position where we can help, whether it be financially or obviously we're quite restricted time-wise in things that we can get involved in and can't. But certainly we can help financially. We can help by showing a little bit of empathy. We can help by understanding that everybody isn't in quite as fortunate positions as us. But then I look at my situation, of course, as a kid and growing up, and I was showered by love. I mean, I wasn't in a situation where I felt unloved or alone. My mum made some unsavory situations great as a kid. So at the time, I didn't necessarily, that was a norm. I didn't necessarily see that I wasn't living the life of luxury that other people were living, or a settled home, or living in a nice house and a couple of cars for the family. But that was just our norm, and it was fine because my mum made a great deal of it, and my sisters were great as well. So, but then I look back now as the man that I am, and I think I know what it's like. I know what it's like.
Are you grateful for that period?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, any experience that I've been through, I don't think would allow me to be the person I am today if I didn't go through them.
And do you think, you made reference to those injuries at Bournemouth gave you the chance to look back, and there's that old saying that life only makes sense when we view it backwards. What did you realise during that period of reflection that you'd taken, that you could take with you on the next stage of your journey?
I probably learned that, and this is something that I spoke on quite a lot, I probably learned that the obsession of putting everything in one basket is really dangerous mentally, and is a really dangerous place to be. Now, I know that this is probably a bit of a generational thing as well, because we're afforded a little bit more space and time to be the people that we want to be as players. I don't think if you were, and I've said this before, if you're in Sir Alex Ferguson's dressing room when they won the treble, I don't think setting up a business would have been so actively encouraged, or doing things away from football would have been so actively encouraged. But when I got injured, I lost everything really, because I'd perceived getting to the Premier League as the place of happiness, and that was the destination of success, and that's where it finished. I was going to play in the Premier League and I would be happy. Now to have that taken away in such cruel fashion seemed like the end of the world, because I had nothing else. I had no other identity. I had no other things in my life that could bring me any form of contentment or fulfillment.
Yep.
So that's probably what taught me the biggest lesson.
How dark was that time?
Yeah, awful. I mean, for the first couple of months, I probably did nothing but drink. Now, if you think about what is most counterproductive to inflammation in the knee, alcohol was probably right up there. And it was an awful time. And I remember going to the manager at Bournemouth, and I think I broke down in the end, just in tears, and was like, I don't even know where these tears are coming from. I mean, I'm doing rehab, I'm here. Yeah, I don't feel great because I got injured, but surely there must be more to it than that, because...
And what was the drinking doing for you?
Putting me to sleep. Yeah, it was taking me out of my reality, and my reality was that I'd lost all control, and I'd lost all control of my of where I wanted to go, and that was probably the most unstable in time of my life, because when I'm fit and I can push to get in the team, that's an element of that is in my control. But when I'm out of the team and I don't know if Bournemouth are going to stay up and don't know if I'm going to play in the Premier League again, they're all emotions and thoughts that are swirling through my head. I'm thinking, I can't control it and I'm injured. I'm not going to be back for another 12 months. I don't know where Bournemouth are going to be. I don't know if I'm ever going to get the chance to play in the Premier League again. What about if I don't get back in the team in the Championship? My career is only going one way. So, yeah, it was awful. It was awful. And but then, like I said, I learned so much throughout them times.
So who was the person you discovered once you got through that initial dark period? Who were you that you found at the other end of that analysis?
Great question. I mean, two completely different people, absolutely. I mean, going into the injury, and when I look back at what made me happy around the time of my injury, it was football, it was going out, it was girls, it was material objects. And when you feel so irrelevant in your day job, I guess I wasn't winning the big war, so I was winning little battles. I was buying a new car, I was buying jewelry, giving myself little pick-me-ups. And I guess when I started to go through the injury and go through the process of I guess unpicking the layers in my mind of what I was thinking and why I was thinking them and where they came from, I realised I'm not necessarily that person at all. I'm someone that, like you said, likes to help or give back, or I'm someone that likes to learn. I'm someone that likes to push the boundaries of what I can do. And that was an enlightening period, absolutely. It was a period of reflection. Now, the reflection wasn't so easy to do because I had to go to some quite dark places to get there. I had to speak about some traumas in my life that I didn't really want to speak about again. But listen, it uncovered things that I never knew about myself.
So you saw a psychologist, therapist?
Yeah, still speak to him now, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we speak, and part of my pre-game routine is to speak to him. So we speak about, it's just a routine we do. It takes 3 or 4 minutes, and I'm sure you know all about it, but it puts me in a state of competitiveness.
So do you talk about football in that conversation, or
No?
We talk about how you're feeling?
Yeah, so we talk a little bit about settling down the inner child, any fears he may have in what I'm about to do, and then talking to the best version of myself and about what he looks like, how he stood, how he feels, how he competes, and then trying to distinguish which one you need right now, and then going out and playing.
I think this is a brilliant conversation to have, because I still think, even in 2020, in professional sport, not enough people, are doing what you're doing, which is seeking outside help and having these kinds of conversations. But even worse, I bet there are other professional sports people that are doing this, but they're not necessarily brave enough to admit that before they compete, they speak to a psychologist.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels quite crass in many ways, Tyrone, to ask you this, but in terms of that period you went through and the reflection that you did, there's almost like a delicious irony that your career has taken off since that as well, while you've been liberated in so many other ways as a person. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's any coincidence that I kind of cleanse myself of the things I didn't like about myself. Listen, there's still bad habits that creep in from time to time, but the fact that I was able to go through that, and almost like you said, Jay, in terms of resetting and going again, setting new goals. I mean, the fact that I perceived the Premier League as success was bad enough and was dangerous enough, because quite rightly, if I got there, then what? So I had to go through a period of resetting my goals and really understanding that I had to enjoy the journey. I had to enjoy everything that I was about to go through, and not keep placing happiness at a far away moment in time or destination. So I guess when people say like, oh, when do you feel like you made it or anything like that, I don't think anybody would ever say that. And I think the journey is sometimes really hard to take in. I think our family and friends probably benefit from it more than what we do. Yeah. Because when I come back from playing for England, I've got a game for Villa 2 days later, and it's like you never get a chance to do what I did when I got injured, which was to reflect and which was to take stock of my life and appreciate where I come from.
Please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a thumbs up, leave a review, but somehow get involved with the High Performance Podcast and become part of our growing community. Thanks for being part of the adventure.